Hey everyone, welcome to yet another Where Are They Now? Where we go back to the same month but 2 years prior, revisit the monthly favorites, which I printed out here, and see if they're still around. If they're not, what has replaced them, if anything? So we're going back to October 2016, which was one of the worst months of my life as a mother. Significantly worse for Shane, of course. That was the month that Shane was admitted to the hospital for a week. He was then diagnosed with ulcerative colitis. And I'm happy to report that since that time, he has really been flare-up free, barring a little stomach bug, and has been declared in clinical remission and actually taken off one of the 2 drugs he was put on way back then. So yay, knock on wood. Health-wise, he's just doing great all around. So really, really happy to report that, and really just touched by all the support over the last 2 years that y'all have shown him and me, and you all ask about him, and it just really means a lot to me. So just wanted to go off on that tangent. And again, there's always negativity in everything in life, but at the same time, far outweighed by the huge amount of goodness and positivity in the world, and that is evidenced every day. Sorry, I don't even know what's going on back there. By the goodness that you see in the world, even here on YouTube. So with that, and with my friend here, his stubby little tail, let's get into the favorites. We're going to just talk about beauty favorites from back then. And I have, as always, printed out my description box. And I did not recreate the makeup look, but I am wearing the same shirt. And this is no longer available. This was from Target, and I think it was old even back then. First thing I talked about back then was a new release from Zoya, the nail polish that I love. And the shade is Zoya August, which is right here. And it is best described as sort of a light gray with blue undertones. And I did not plan that this was the shade I was going to be wearing. I am not actually wearing that right now. I obviously still have it, but the shade that I am currently loving is one I just randomly picked up at the drugstore. This is from Essie, and a lot of you have been asking about it on Instagram. I finally looked up the color. It is called Showroom For One, and this is their gel. It's not gel, it's nail polish, but it's from their gel collection. It's apparently more shiny. What can I say? Once fall rolls around, love a good gray. Can never have enough of them. I have a whole drawer just of random gray nail polishes in every shade of gray. 50 shades or more, one could say. Another favorite from October 2016 was the It Brush Bath. And I don't use this to deep clean my brushes, but I keep this where I do my makeup, and I can spot clean with this. So what I'll do, I'm not going to demonstrate here because it's a little messy and I don't have a towel with me, is I will spray it directly into the palm of my hand. I'll cup my hand and I'll spray it right into the palm of my hand, and I'll take the brush, eyeshadow brush, and kind of rub it in there, and then swirl it on a paper towel or napkin or something, and Kleenex. And then it just immediately cleans off whatever shadow I'm using, and it leaves no residue, and it dries within seconds, and you can immediately use that brush in another color. So it's a great table side or counter side brush cleaner to have. I think this is what it's best for instead of a deep clean, is just a quick change, color change sort of thing. And so it would be great to have in a makeup kit, or if you're traveling and you don't want to bring a million brushes, this would be something handy to have. Another favorite from October 2016 I no longer have, because all of a sudden in doing these revisiting, especially when I did the Sephora first order one, that one really got me to start purging like crazy, and I have just been getting rid of makeup left and right. So I don't have the Essence All About Nudes palette. It was a great palette. There was nothing wrong with it. I just wasn't reaching for it, and I need to make room for all the other stuff that's constantly coming in. But a great... this is not new to you. I've been raving about this. This is my latest obsession. These drugstore palettes, the Milani palettes, they're not necessarily nude, but they're neutral. This one is not quite as neutral. This is the Bold Obsession, so maybe I'll show you this one. The Milani Soft and Sultry. This shade range is the closest to the Essence All About Nudes palette. It's more expensive. The Essence one was probably $6 or $10. This is $15. I don't link to this in the description box. I'll list it for you in the description box. The reason I'm not linking to this, I can find it for you online, but it's usually I find it for about $20 online. But if you physically go into Walmart, it will be $14.99. And so I'd rather you save $5 and just go in and get it in person. Another favorite from October 2 years ago was the Jane Iredale, where are you? Daytime, I believe it's called, palette, which I think is still actually around. And it's this guy right here. And for what, and I guess there was a brush with it. I don't know. It must be in my brushes. I don't reach for it. I don't know why it didn't make the great purge. It is a nice little collection of matte wearable shades. I think this cream shade has some shimmer, not shimmer, but it's more of a satin. No, it's got a little glimmer to it. They're very wearable. It's a lovely little palette. I have nothing against it. I don't know why I'm not reaching for it. Lately, if I'm going to reach for mattes, I'm either going to reach for the Milani matte palette or I'm going to reach for the Too Faced natural matte palette. I like having a lot more options. There's just a little more range here. Admittedly, this is a lot more travel friendly. So if this is still available, I will link it because I do like it. It has everything you need, every kind of random shade. And then I like this nice kind of standalone matte shade range because then you can add one single shimmer shadow, whether it's a color or another neutral, and you have an entire eye look right there. Speaking of shimmer palettes, this was the favorite in 2016, and it's not really one anymore. Kind of interesting to revisit these. I kind of got caught up in the whole Natasha Denona craze and phase. This is the Natasha Denona palette. I have it's the 5 shadow palette. I have it in the number 2 shade. And it's nothing against Natasha Denona. These are beautiful eyeshadows. The quality is fantastic. The pigmentation is beautiful. These are all, I think maybe I just did a bad job picking them, I think is part of the problem. I thought I would use this more. These first 4 shadows are all very similar in color. So when you start putting them on the eye, they do blend into kind of a bit of a muddy mess. Also, there's not really much of a matte. There's no matte. This one is. This one is matte. But the rest of them are not. And so that also adds to the muddiness factor. I really need to make this palette workable. I either need to add another full-on palette in, or I need to see a matte brow bone shade, a stronger matte crease shade. I don't know. There's just something missing in this. And so and it's a little more cool tone than I'm used to working with. I did a bad job picking. This is on me. This is not on Natasha. We are on a first name basis. Did you know that? There's something that just didn't work for me with this palette. I am interested in picking up the camel one that just came out. Lisa J did a tutorial with it. I've seen her wear it in a few of her videos. It looks amazing on her. We have different skin tones, slightly different eye color, but I think that's a palette that would work with a lot of people, and that's the color range I'm more comfortable wearing. So I haven't entirely given up on Natasha Denona, but this was one of those, I need to have it, didn't think through that I wouldn't actually wear any of these colors on a consistent basis. Another favorite from 2016 was the Estee Edit Grit and Glow palette. So I don't have this for a couple of reasons. One, Estee Lauder decided to 86 the Estee Edit line. It was like an offshoot of Estee Lauder for the cooler, younger, hipper crowd. Kind of makes me sad that they did that because there were some really great products in that line that I had wanted to get, and by the time I got around to going to get them, they had discontinued the line. I wish they just absorbed it into the main Estee Lauder line. I think Estee Lauder has some really great products, but it runs a little more mature, and I think if they want the Estee Lauder brand to appeal to a younger audience, they should just add products into the main Estee Lauder brand that appeal to a younger, slightly younger audience. So they should have just kept it. I did it came with 2 palettes. They were a highlighter palette and sort of an eyeshadow palette, and I sent the eyeshadow palette to a friend of mine. Hey, Emily. And then I kept the more highlighty palette. It was beautiful, and I'm not entirely sure if I threw it out or gave it away. But if I'm going to reach for a highlighter palette these days, there's 2 that I really like. The higher end one is the Too Faced Sweet Peach Glow. It is quite pretty. Technically, it's a highlighter, blush, and bronzer, but they could kind of, depending on your skin tone, it could be an entire highlight palette. And then the other highlighting palette is the true highlighting palette. It's 3 highlighter shades. This is from Flower Beauty. It's the Shimmer and Strobe highlighting palette. This, bar none, is the best highlighting palette I have ever tried, used in my life high-end, regular end, drugstore end, whatever you want to call it. And then I had 2 lip products that were favorites from October 2016. One is what I have on right now. It is the Clinique Pop in Bear Pop. I still really like it, and I think it's a great year-round color, but it's a great transition into fall. It's a little deeper, and it's not quite a nude. It has a little bit of warmth to it. Here's the tube. There's some plummy undertones. Trying to make my lips big enough for you to actually see them. I haven't had anything done to them yet, so this is all you're gonna get. And then the last favorite from October 2016 was this lip product from Jouer in the lip cream. It is the lip cream in Bronze Rose. It's a beautiful fall color. Let me swatch it on the back of my hand for you. And here's the problem. It's another one of these kind of liquid lipstick guys. And it's beautiful on the lips. It's a really pretty color. And with me, as with all liquid lipsticks, they start to dry and get that, they just feel to me, I feel the texture makes me just feel strange. I don't like it. I feel like it is unwearable by itself after a while. It needs to be topped with something glossy, which sort of defeats the purpose. He's back. Now, lately, what I started wearing, and this is a little bit of sneak peek because I've ordered a bunch of stuff from Sephora and gathered some other things also to start reviewing for holidays. And there's a little lip set from Kevyn Aucoin. You really don't have lips, so this isn't going to work out for you. Can you have a seat? So you're going to hear more about these in a week or two, but it's a little set with the lip toppers and some basically like liquid lipstick. And I've been steering away from them, but I saw this little set and the colors are just so pretty and I've heard such great things. Anyway, so I've been wearing this one. It's the Molten Matte in Tory. I'm going to swatch it on my hand. It just goes on the lips a little more creamy and it dries down a little less flat. Also matte. And then there's another one called Dolly. I'm going to swatch it on the other side. And it's almost identical in tone. So the Jouer is in the middle and on either side there's Dolly and there's Tory. And you can see that the Jouer one really dries down flat. The Kevyn Aucoin one still dry down to like you're wearing a liquid lipstick, but it's far less uncomfortable. That's a ringing endorsement, isn't it? I do admittedly still like to top them with some sort of lip topper. There are 2 in the set that I really enjoy. That's going to be another video. But so I still like the concept of a liquid lipstick, not every day, but if I'm going to a party or some event where I don't want to fuss with my lipstick, and I need it. I want something on my lips, and maybe it's not convenient to keep reaching and reapplying in a crowd situation, in a party situation. So yeah, the Jouer one is probably going to get tossed because it's been a couple years. I'm not reaching for it. Let's see how it smells. It still smells amazing though. That is it. That is the look back in October 2016. I will keep doing these. I just don't know how long it's going to go for because as I continue to purge and there's less stuff, I don't know how interested you will be in going, well, I don't have it anymore, but I'll tell you what I use instead and I can show you a picture of it. So let me know where you want to go with this. Do we want to finish out 2018 and then, do November and do December and then say goodbye to the Where Are They Now series and move on to something else, or let me know. So as always, thank you so much for watching. Thanks for hanging out with me. Thanks for taking a little walk through down memory lane, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye-bye.